got you to that point where you wanted to be that girl?
The healed, like fully empowered person.
Yes.
It honestly came from a lot of chaos in my family and trauma, and my mom died when I was 12, and I just held on to so much darkness for so long that I was like, I will freaking do anything to feel better. And so I started seeing a therapist, but she was more of like an energy healer therapist, and that's what started my journey. And then this curiosity of yoga, and why do I feel so good after I do yoga, and moving my body and learning about my energy and like the energy of other people and how it affects me too. So that's and it's my curiosity. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Spotless Minds podcast, where we talk about all things beauty, health, and wealth for women. I am here with a fellow co-creator, fellow podcaster, Miss Loni Dayan. Today we're gonna go over things like meditation, spirituality. We got some juicy stuff that I'm excited for you guys to watch. Okay, so let's get started with some questions. I'll start.
Okay.
What has been your biggest challenge on your podcast journey so far?
My biggest challenge, I've thought about this question, and it's been not feeling good enough and feeling overly critical of the work that I do and put out, and trying to work through that and wanting to shift it, but like also knowing that through time, as I get better and better and better, that I do start to feel like my work is worthy. And another challenge, which is like a very practical challenge, has been color grading on my video editing skills. So it's just
I don't even know what color grading is. Like, what's that?
It's with the video and changing the colors and the tones of the video footage to make it look crispier and more enjoyable to watch.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, so being an actress, I've seen them do so many things, but I've never really focused yet on my post-editing color grading as far as, because I've seen like the things on the editing software, but like how do you know what looks,
Exactly.
which ones?
Exactly, I struggle with it.
Yeah.
And there's so many YouTube videos that teach you about it, but it really takes a trained eye to be like, oh, there's a lot of red in this color, there's a lot of green, and it's something that I'm sure takes a lifetime to actually fully learn and master.
Okay. Well, we'll get there. I think I struggle with the same, like feeling like I want to be. Have you seen Bobby? She's like interviewed Drake last week. Okay, so there's this new podcaster, and she's been doing it for like less than a year, like 8 months, and now she has Drake on her podcast, like Lil Yachty, all these big celebrities, and the quality, I don't know what color grading they're using, but the quality looks amazing, and I'm just like feeling this pressure to be like, oh, I want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want the best backgrounds and the best camera quality. So that's been the hardest part for my journey.
Yeah, I feel that too. And like trying to figure out what looks good and aesthetically pleasing. And I love how you play around with it and you try different colors and you try different locations and adding things and taking things from. And that's what gets us, you're welcome. That's what gets us to being a better podcaster and like getting Drake on our podcast, is just putting in the freaking work. And this person, Bobby, like, I also think it's important to look at what has she done before, because she's probably been doing things in her life already that has led her up to already having these connections and having a nice background, or maybe she has more money and she just pays someone else. I mean, she definitely has more money.
That's what I said. I was like, it's the money, because yeah, I mean, even on being on set, like the higher the budget, the better the food was, the better like everything was. And I guess everyone has to start somewhere. So we're starting, and shout out to us for doing this today.
For starting too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So ever since I started telling people about my podcast, there's so many people who are like, oh, like I really wanted to start one, or oh, me and my friend recorded one and we never posted it. And I'm just realizing how many people don't even start.
That makes me feel good too. It's like that reminder of like, well, at least I started. At least I am going somewhere. At least, like, even when I look at my views and they're like 50, 60, and I'm like, I'm like, that's still 50, 60 people who care enough about what I'm even saying than like 0. Yeah. At least it's not 0. So, yeah, that's how I've been feeling. All right, guys, so I'm sponsoring my own podcast today. On this channel, we talk about all things health, wealth, beauty. And so what better way to protect everything that you've been working hard towards? The healthy eating, the working out, building your wealth, building your beauty, if you're not at least going to protect it financially. Back in the day, the men were the breadwinners, so when we passed away, there really wasn't much, if we weren't married, to really be passing down. Now we are bosses. Hello. CEOs. We are actually head of households these days, and so I just want to come and remind you that there's no better time to get your life insurance than who you are today, because your health, your age, all of those things affect your prices. So if you plan on having kids in the future, if you have kids in the present, if you're protecting your family and you were to pass away today, is everything that you've been building, your legacy, protected? That's the question. If not, what better way than working with me and getting your family some life insurance? I'm the best at what I do. #1 life insurance agent. So definitely let me know. I am a broker, so I work with the top A-rated companies. So I can for sure get you the best deal in the market with the best companies, fastest payouts. Girl, I got you. Just know I got you. All right.
Were you previously an actress? Are you still an actress?
It's so okay. So acting takes like auditioning. So you're always waiting for that next role. You're always waiting for that next opportunity. And so you don't, even though it's a creative industry and you can be creative when you finally get that opportunity to be on set, you're waiting. So that creativity is just kind of like boiling inside, but nothing is getting used unless like I use it for an audition, which is still great, but it's not being seen. It's not, you know? And so what I love about podcasting and starting this journey is now it's in my control to always make the content and put it out. And so now I feel like I'm working more than I am able to in acting. And so it's not that I won't accept a role right now, but now I don't ever want to go back to, it's like being in that relationship with a guy. Are you straight?
I am straight.
Okay. Being with a guy, and then he's putting in like a little bit of effort, and you have to always show up to receive something from him. But now it feels so equal, if that makes sense, because it's like being single after that. Now it's like all attention on me and what I'm doing. So that was a long answer of saying yes, I will, but no, because now I kind of want to just focus on building what I have. Yeah,
that's really cool. You could also do like, have you ever thought about doing little skits of your own videos and your YouTube videos? And
this was a setup, right?
Exactly.
A setup. A skit's a script, and I've done them. I've done plenty. because that's like when I moved to LA to start the process of becoming an actress, that's when Instagram had first really been a place where like content creators would make these skits. And so I joined skit groups, but the amount of effort it takes is like a short movie. With this, you can kind of just put it together right quick and then just have the free-flowing conversation. And so fitting that into my schedule is going to have to be a whole nother thing. Yeah. It's a whole job in itself.
Yeah, you're right. Everything is a whole job. And that's why like I decided to just focus on podcasting instead of like all these other things. Because it will take all your time.
All of it. Editing, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. So yeah, it's been Ooh. You always felt like you were an entrepreneur is really my question.
I honestly haven't always felt like an entrepreneur, but I have always been bothered working for someone else. There's just always been something in me that's like, I don't like that I'm putting all of my energy, effort into making someone else's money for them. And I actually grew up in a family, my dad's a carpenter, so he owned his own business. And my mom would, for fun, go to the flea market and sell gloves and sell stuff. And like she was her own entrepreneur, and both of my uncles were entrepreneurs. So like looking back at like the string of my life, I'm like, oh wow, I've always been surrounded by entrepreneurs. So I feel like I'm finally stepping into, I can do this. I can be my own entrepreneur. I can show up in the world. And that ties into being a leader too. I think entrepreneurial pursuits is leading. And you get to be like, well, like I want to do it like this, or I see someone else running their business this way, but it could be so much better if they just like tweaked a little bit of something.
I like that. Where are you from?
I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
Okay. Philadelphia. The chocolate factory is there, right?
Oh yeah, I think Hershey's. Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania, not Philly.
Well, maybe it's like 2 hours away from Philadelphia.
What goes on in Philly? Is it like city? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's big. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, and so so before you were doing podcasting, I know you're into like meditation and healing and all that type of stuff. What got you to that point where you wanted to be that girl?
The healed, like fully empowered person?
Yes.
It honestly came from a lot of chaos in my family and trauma, and my mom died when I was 12, and I just held on to so much darkness for so long that I was like, I will freaking do anything to feel better. And so I started seeing a therapist, but she was more of like an energy healer therapist, and that's what started my journey. And then this curiosity of yoga, and why do I feel so good after I do yoga, and moving my body and learning about my energy and like the energy of other people and how it affects me too. So that's and it's my curiosity. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here?
I thought I was the only one that felt that way. Like I wake up daily and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this thing called life? Like, and the older I get, like, I thought I would be more clear, but I'm actually starting to feel more confused.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even though I'm constantly seeking clarity, I'm still like, wow, like, at the amazement too. It's not just confusion, it's the amazement of like how you can structure it and mold it even energetically, even with people energetically, without even meeting them. And it's becoming so much more like intricate and what's the word? Deep. Just deep. Like very deep.
I like what you're saying, and I'm really curious to understand more of okay. How do you currently see the world?
I see it in I see worlds. I see that when I want to indulge in crazy activities or non-self-serving, self-loving activities, how that's easily or given to me by the universe. And then now that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do better on my healing journey, it's been just coming to me too. So it's almost like two different worlds now. Like I still see that side, but those opportunities don't come to me anymore. Now it's like, okay, like I was explaining in my podcast earlier today how I now want to just get my body to the point where I finally want it, my fitness journey. And then I go downstairs at my hotel and there's a trainer and he's working out. He's like, yeah, it's free. Like, I train. And so he's been training me all week.
That is amazing.
But I would have never spotted that if I was like, okay, I want to go to the bar. I would have found other drinkers and then we would have been drinking together and partying later. And that would have been my experience in Miami. So, yeah, that's how I see it. What about you?
How do I see the world? I see it. What I've been really focused on is the narratives that we tell ourselves and like our story, who I am, how I show up, the things that I talk about and tell other people, and how that creates those types of situations. So like if I'm like constantly complaining or being like, this person at work is so fucking annoying and blah, 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 and I'm like telling the whole world that, then I'm like creating that over and over. And like, and then maybe I go to the grocery store and there's an annoying person there because I'm telling the story of who I am and how people interact with me. So I've been really focused on that and like really analyzing what stories am I telling the world? What do I believe about myself? And what do I want to believe about myself? Who do I want to be in this world?
And so I have a question. I don't know if it's going to be too personal, but you said your mom passed away when you were 12. How do you see life and death then?
I actually have seen a lot of mediums, and I have practiced mediumship myself. So,
and that's, explain medium.
Medium is to be a channel for, say, like a deceased person, and you deliver messages to like the living person of like, oh, they're like saying this, or they're showing me this, or they want you to know this. And so it's been like such like sometimes I'm like confused, and then sometimes I feel clear, like I feel like I know what's happening, and then I'm just like, wait, what? Because I think our bodies die, but I don't think our energy ever does. And then it like creates this question of like, what does happen to our energy? Because I fully believe and know that my mom is with me and I can call on her and she can maybe like put some energetic things into alignment for me. And it's just been this like curious and open-minded experience.
Have you sought like maybe a medium interpreter? And how did that go? Is that where you started to learn about like tapping into that?
Yes. There's one that comes to mind pretty quick. I remember this was a long time ago. I feel like it was like 9 years ago. And I remember calling this medium and she's like, yeah, your mom's here. And I don't remember everything she said, but I do remember that she's like, your mom like wants you to get tested for, I think it's the BRCA, some DNA strand that causes breast cancer. And oh my gosh, I'm crying.
What is that like?
Yeah, right. Like, whoa, was it exciting? And I remember just like this lady didn't know me at all, and my mom died of breast cancer, and like it was just one of those moments of like, what? Out of all the things that this person could tell me, and it was just so spot on and so relevant. And it's those moments that I think opens humans up to questioning what's really happening. And so that's like part of where it started.
That gave me chills. That was beautiful. Yeah, I've been into tarot lately, like YouTube tarot. And to me, it's been so amazing to see how they can be so relevant. And then, like, talk about views. They're getting 75,000, 100,000 views and likes and comments. And I'm watching how many people are, weirdly enough, experiencing the same things in the same situation, just in different forms and different patterns and different humans. And it's like, yeah, what is going on here? That's why I said I keep getting, like, every time I think I'm a little bit closer to thinking I'm like, I figured it out. It's like, no, here's something else. Another thing that's been happening to me that I haven't even told anyone about. I think I'm experiencing telepathy with humans, with other people. And I haven't asked the people yet, like, in person, like, are you talking to me? Like, through my head. But I've been feeling like I'm having like full-blown conversations, and then I show up in those spaces, and the way it's moving, it's like we had that conversation. It's crazy. I don't know if you've experienced anything like that, but it's been wild.
I don't think I have, but I love that, and I believe that is absolutely happening. Something though that I have been questioning and think, I'm very empathic, and like I can feel other people's energies. And recently this one person was talking to me, and she's kind of like complaining and like, and then like I started to feed into it too. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And oh God, I like hate that. I am so empathic that like I can feed into it because I feel it and I take it on as my own. And then I realized that like I started having like the thoughts of those feelings. So like I felt like that was like some form of telepathy of like, of tapping into what she was feeling and then like also tapping into what she was thinking. That's been such an interesting experience. I've been really working on keeping my energy field clean because like even like being here in Miami and like there's so many people and there's such strong energy here of like, it's like,
it's a lot.
It's beautiful, but like it also can be really overwhelming for me. And I'm like, okay, just be present. It's okay.
Yeah, it feels like, I like it because it feels like people are working here. That's what I don't feel in every city. Is like, or every place, is like people are actually up, going, moving, actively working on themselves. It's a good place to be, but yeah, Miami's too much for me. And I would never.
What are signs of people self-sabotaging themselves without realizing it?
What do you mean? Define that a little bit more.
So I think like subconsciously we could be like, I really want to go to the gym more, but like we end up just smoking weed and not going to the gym more. And like we don't even, well, I guess I just gave an example of like self-sabotage.
Like what are signs? Or I don't understand the question.
I guess what is self-sabotage? What are examples of self-sabotage?
So it's so interesting to me because even though I do believe self-sabotage is real, I think what's even more real is that the people around you enable you to do things like that. So like once I moved to Atlanta and started going to the podcast recordings and being around Dave, immediately the energy that I couldn't feel, like before then I would smoke all day, like wake up, smoke, chill, maybe do a little work, maybe not. And then lay back down, watch a Netflix show. I wasn't accomplishing anything. I wasn't going anywhere, and that was okay for me and everybody else that was around me at that time. No one tried that hard. It just wasn't a thing. Mm-hmm. And then I get around them and I'm watching them like accomplish goals and talk about $30,000, $40,000 months. And I'm like, I want that. I want to be that. And it wasn't hard at that point to start making the shift of not doing the things I was doing before, because I'll be like, well, they're not doing it, so clearly that wouldn't work. And so, yeah, I think self-sabotage is real, but at the same time, your energy field and the people around you, I don't think it'll be possible for me to keep achieving what I'm achieving if I'm around people who don't care as much as I do. That's just my belief.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Yoga.
Yeah.
Have you done hot yoga?
I love hot yoga.
I love hot yoga. So do you have a, what is the place?
What, a yoga studio?
Yeah, Core Power. Have you been to Core Power?
I have been, yeah.
Ooh, Core Power has been like my holy grail. What about yoga do you think is what helps the most with our minds?
Ooh. I think it's a combination of breathing deep, the Ujjayi breath, of the really deep inhale and exhale. And when you can combine that with movement, you're releasing energy in your body, and then you're also calming yourself down because you're breathing deep into your lungs. So I think that's what just feels really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's helping, the deep breath.
Yeah.
What is breath?
Breath is life.
I know it's
I
life.
feel like that was so cheesy.
But like, what is that? What is this that like...
Right, and it keeps us alive, and we have to do it, and it's the same for every single person in this world.
I was almost at a clarity point, and then I'm like, no, what
Wait
is
a second,
breath?
I have a question.
Wait, like, hold up. Yes, okay. Well, whatever this thing called life is, it's definitely a journey, and it's exciting. What are you doing currently to keep it exciting for you? Like, what's your excitement these days?
To keep it? I love that. I love that question. I actually had to take a break for a couple days of podcasting and creating content because it just became too much. And I just bought a bunch of plants and I started gardening and taking care of plants. And I think it's nature and being slow and present with the things around us that are just growing naturally and are so calm and so peaceful.
Same. Gardening has been amazing. Yeah. Watching to see the growth and that even plants take time to like fully grow and sprout and go through different seasons of 1 minute it's wilted and it's dead, and then the next minute it's back alive. It's definitely a metaphor for what we experience.
Yes. And then also that we need to water them. We need to water them so they can thrive. And like some plants just have the craziest roots, and they're just like this like little thing, which is just it's so symbolic for how we need those sturdy roots and foundation for whatever we're creating in this world, so that we can really blossom into the fullest flower that we can be.
Absolutely. I have one last question for you. Who are your go-tos for conversations like this?
Ooh. The first person that comes to mind is my friend Phoenix. He actually moved to Colorado like a couple months ago, but I could literally tell this person anything and he would be like, he would understand what I'm saying and he would chime in, and I feel so comfortable with him.
Okay. First person coming to mind is Oprah. Have you heard her, what's it called? Soul Searching Podcast. Have you heard her podcast?
I actually haven't. No.
So good. So deep. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Where can people find your socials?
So you can find me on Instagram at Perspective Switch Podcast, and I'm also on YouTube and TikTok. Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram, all of them.
Yeah, I didn't want to go all
Just put
iTunes,
it in there.
Spotify, but I didn't want to overwhelm you. Thank you. Yay.
That felt so good.